You're about to finance a $60,000 truck that'll grenade its turbo at 80,000 miles and leave you with a repair bill bigger than your down payment. Dealers won't tell you which engines run 300,000 miles on oil changes and duct tape. But I've torn apart every motor from the big three and the imports, and I know which ones laugh at the junkyard. Let's crack this wide open. 2007, 2013. Toyota Tundra, 5.7-litre V8, 3 URFE. People sleep on these Tundras because they look like yesterday's lunch, and the MPG makes your wallet cry. 13 miles per gallon on premium if you're hauling air. Everyone's chasing the new Fords with twin turbos and fancy tech, but here's the truth from the bay. That 3 URFE engine is a cast iron anvil that refuses to die. No turbo to grenade, no direct injection carbon buildup, just a big naturally aspirated V8 with timing chains that actually last, and a transmission built by Aisin that doesn't know how to quit. I've seen these roll in with 280,000 on the clock, still running factory spark plugs. The frame rust issue Toyota had, fixed after 2009 with better undercoating. You want a truck that runs when your grandkids inherit it? This is the blueprint. Yeah, it guzzles fuel like a diesel locomotive. The interior feels cheaper than a Corolla. And good luck fitting it in a tight parking spot because it's wider than a billboard. But you didn't buy a Prius. You bought a truck that starts in January when it's 10 below, and everything else on the block is dead. 1999-2007. GMC Sierra/Chevy. Silverado 6.0-litre Vortec, LQ4/LQ9. Nobody talks about the 6.0 Vortec because everyone's obsessed with the 5.3. Or they jumped ship to the newer EcoBoost garbage. The 6.0 came in heavy-duty packages and fleet trucks, so civilians think it's boring. Let me tell you what's not boring. 400,000 miles on original internals. I've rebuilt maybe 3 of these in 15 years, and 2 of those were because the owner thought oil changes were optional. Iron block, aluminum heads, simple pushrod design. No cylinder deactivation nonsense like the newer AFM motors that eat camshafts for breakfast. The 4L80E transmission behind it is a tank that tow companies pray you buy. You can pull a house off its foundation, and this combo shrugs. The fuel economy is abysmal. 15 miles per gallon highway if Jesus is your co-pilot. The interior falls apart faster than a wet napkin. And the electrical gremlins? Oh man. The window motors and door locks will test your patience. But when you need to tow 8,000 pounds through a blizzard at 2 in the morning, this engine fires up and asks for more. You bought reliability, not a luxury sedan. And here's the kicker. Number 7 is even simpler. 2003-2007. Dodge Ram 2500/3500 5.9-litre Cummins. The new Ram guys with their 6.7s and their deleted emissions act like the 5.9 is ancient history. It's got a reputation for killing transmissions, so buyers get scared. Here's what they don't tell you. That 5.9 Cummins is the last truly bulletproof diesel before the EPA strangled everything with DEF fluid and DPF filters. No DPF to clog, no DEF to freeze, no EGR cooler to crack and mix coolant with oil. Just a mechanical injection pump on the earlier 24 valve model, or a simple electronic VP44 or common rail on the later ones. The engine itself, I've seen these hit 500,000 miles without touching the bottom end. Head studs and injectors, around 150,000 if you're unlucky. But that's Saturday afternoon work, not mortgage the house repairs. The transmission is the Achilles heel. That 47RE or 48RE will slip and burn if you tow heavy without a trans-cooler upgrade. The cab rattles like a paint can full of bolts. And good luck finding one that hasn't been beaten to death by a contractor or deleted by a coal-rolling teenager. But that engine block is worth its weight in gold. You bought a motor that outlives the truck wrapped around it. 2011, 2016 Ford F, 250/F, 356.2 litres. V8 Ford guys ignore the 6.2 because they want the 6.7 power stroke for bragging rights, or they cheap out on the EcoBoost. The 6.2 gas motor came standard in base model Super Duties, so it feels like the boring option. Wake up. This is the most underrated gas engine Ford ever built. It's basically the 6.8 V10 with 2 cylinders chopped off. Pushrod design, port fuel injection, no turbos to cook, no timing belts to snap. Just 16 valves, a forged crank, and a work ethic that makes millennials look lazy. Paired with the 6R140 transmission, this setup tows 12,000 pounds without breaking a sweat. I've seen landscaping companies run these to 250,000 miles on basic maintenance and sell them still running strong. The fuel economy is rough, 12 to 14 miles per gallon loaded, maybe 17 empty highways. The interior in the base XL trim is straight out of 2005, and the engine sounds like a tractor compared to the newer twin-turbo stuff. But you know what doesn't happen? Turbo failure at 60,000 miles. Carbon buildup on intake valves. Timing chain stretch. This motor runs forever on oil and filters. You bought simple wins, 2005, 2015, Nissan Frontier/Titan 4.0-litre V6, VQ40DE. People laugh at Nissan trucks because the brand's been asleep for a decade, and the interiors feel like a 90s Honda. The Frontier looks the same as it did when Obama took office, but that VQ40DE engine is a cockroach that refuses to die. It's the truck version of the legendary VQ series that powered 350Zs and Maximas for years. Timing chains that last the life of the vehicle. No major oil consumption issues. No head gasket failures. No catastrophic electronics. Just a smooth V6 that makes decent power and asks for nothing but synthetic oil every 5,000 miles. The 5-speed auto or 6-speed manual behind it are both solid. I've seen Frontiers with 200,000 miles still running factory exhaust and suspension. The power is underwhelming compared to American V8s. The towing capacity maxes out around £6,000, and the resale value tanked because nobody wants a dated Nissan when Tacomas hold their price. But you know what you get? A truck that starts every single day and costs pennies to maintain. You bought boring reliability, and boring pays the bills. But now we're getting to the heavy hitters. 1988, 1998. Chevrolet/GMC 6.5-litre Detroit diesel. Everybody craps on the 6.5 turbo diesel because it's not a Cummins or a Duramax. It's got a bad rep for cracking heads and blowing injection pumps. The power output is pathetic by modern standards. Here's the reality from under the hood. The 6.5 is a mechanical workhorse that runs on vegetable oil, if you're desperate. No computer-controlled emissions junk. No high-pressure common rail that costs $6,000 to replace. Just a simple, indirect injection diesel that sips fuel and asks for nothing. Yeah, the factory turbo setup was weak and the cooling system needed help. But fix those two things, and this motor runs 300,000 miles without major surgery. The 4L80E behind it is bulletproof. These trucks were fleet staples for the military and utility companies because they don't quit. The power is anemic, maybe 180 horsepower on a good day. The engine is deafening, and parts are getting harder to find because nobody makes aftermarket support anymore. But when you need a truck that runs on anything flammable and doesn't need a computer science degree to fix, this is your guy. You bought mechanical simplicity in a world drowning in sensors. 2007-2019 Toyota Tundra/Sequoia 5.7-litre V8 3URFE with focus on 2014 plus models. I'm doubling down on this motor because the second-gen Tundras from 2014 forward fixed every complaint. Better interior, better tech, same unstoppable engine. People still skip these because the payload numbers are weaker than the American competition, and the fuel economy makes environmentalists cry. 15 miles per gallon combined if you drive like a grandma. But here's why fleet managers buy these and never look back. That 3URFE is the same motor I talked about at number 9, but in the newer chassis with even better rust protection and updated electronics that actually work. No turbo lag, no carbon buildup, no transmission issues because that 6-speed Aisin is smoother than butter. I've had customers trade these in at 250,000 miles because they got bored, not because anything broke. The resale value holds like Apple stock. You'll pay a premium up front, but you'll get most of it back when you sell. The fuel costs will murder your monthly budget. The turning radius is terrible, and the bed is slightly smaller than comparable domestic trucks. But when you need a truck that runs 300,000 miles on basic maintenance and never leaves you stranded, you buy a Tundra. You bought peace of mind wrapped in sheet metal. 1994-2002 Dodge Ram 2500/3500 5.9-litre Cummins 12-valve. The 12-valve Cummins is legendary, but people get scared because these trucks are old now, and the bodies are rotting off the frames in salt states. The interiors are garbage, and the ride quality is medieval. Listen to me, this is the single most indestructible diesel engine ever bolted into a pickup truck. No computer, no emissions equipment, no DEF, DPF, EGR, or any other alphabet soup, just a mechanical injection pump, a Bosch P pump, or the earlier VE pump. And 6 cylinders that will outlive your mortgage. I've seen these motors run 500,000 miles on oil changes and fuel filters, The block is so overbuilt that it came from medium-duty commercial applications. You can make ridiculous power with basic modifications, and the bottom end laughs at you. The NV4500 manual transmission is a cast-iron beast. Even the automatic 47RH can be built to handle serious torque. The truck around it is falling apart. Rust, broken door, hinges, cracked dashboards. The fuel economy is only okay for a diesel, and good luck passing emissions testing in states that care. But that engine is worth more than the entire truck. People buy these, trash the body, and swap the motor into something newer. You bought an engine with a free truck attached. And number one, it's not what you expect. 2001, 2010 Chevrolet/G, MC, 2500 HD/3500 HD, 6.6 litre Duramax, LB7/LLY/LBZ. Everyone thinks the newer Duramax is better, or they're scared of the LB7 injector issues. These trucks don't have the fancy interiors of modern Chevys. Here's the gospel truth. The early Duramax engines, especially the LBZ from 2006-2007, are the sweet spot before emissions ruined everything. The LB7 had injector problems under warranty, but post-2000 FUCU are RLLY and the LBZ are rock solid. No DPF until 2008, no DEF until 2011. Just a strong Allison 1000 transmission and a Duramax that makes serious power and gets 20 miles per gallon highway empty. I've seen these tow RVs cross-country for years, without a single failure. The Allison Trans is legendary in the medium-duty world and takes abuse like a heavy bag. And these motors respond to tuning better than almost anything, and the aftermarket support is endless. The LB7 needs injectors around 100,000 miles. The LLY runs hot if you tow heavy without an intercooler upgrade, and the interior quality is nothing special. But when you need a diesel that tows 15,000 pounds, gets decent fuel economy, and doesn't require a second mortgage when something breaks, this is the king. You bought American muscle with Japanese reliability DNA. So there it is, Toyota 5.7 V8 for the guys who want bulletproof simplicity, the 12-valve Cummins for the purists who hate computers, and the LBZ Duramax for towing power without modern emissions headaches. Which one's sitting in your driveway? Drop your mileage in the comments and prove me wrong. If this just saved you from buying a turbo time bomb, I smash that like button because dealers hate when you know this stuff. Subscribe for more truth. The service departments don't want you to hear.